HappiDaze here. In today's video, we're taking on Day 3 of Season 17 of Grand Party. So let's get right into matches and see what we have. So looking at the teams here, luckily everyone is using the strategy of changing your friend captain at the end. So huge shout out to these three guys right here, or girls, whoever they are, for just making their teams better. I'm just going to go ahead and probably take on, it looks like there's a quick team at the top, strength team at the top on the middle, and another quick team at the bottom there. So I'd probably just take on the first match there. They have much lower attack power than the other two. I mean, not by much, but still a bit less. So we'll go ahead and take on that. It looks like the middle team there is a int-driven powerhouse team. So like it should be pretty easy to get through that content. So let's go ahead and take on this match first. And we're going to go ahead and use our strategy that we're kind of doing yesterday. We'll use our kind of big striker team up front, get a burst off hopefully, and then we can either choose to have our Luffy team go second or third. Probably second, most likely, as long as we insert that victory in the first match. So let's go ahead and just get right into it and see what happens. So this quick team is obviously a little bit scary. They are pretty heavily boosted. I think they had somewhere like 80k plus attack power, so obviously they're up there, and they have G5 Luffy in the back as well, so we always have to be careful for that. So, like I said, we'll try to get through here as quick as we can. They have Blue Jam in the back end as well, so you just gotta watch out for some of these units. And obviously the Fuji on the front line just gives a bunch of defense, but luckily for us, we have Jack, who should hopefully be able to get that huge HP cut when he goes, and that'll just help charge our special meter. Like I said, the big advantage we have here that they don't have is that we can do 2 bursts and they can do 0 bursts. So that's kind of our advantage in this whole battle, and we're going to use it for all it's worth. So Shiryu hits us for a little bit. Unfortunately, he got Jack, which is really unfortunate, which means he probably won't get that full HP cut there. So I think I might actually save my burst for the next match, just because, like I said, this match isn't going too great. I might be able to pull it off, depending on what happens here. Let's see. Actually, yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. I probably should have waited until Blue Jam or the other guy came on the bench, just to kind of make sure that we had more than enough damage to get through it. But it is what it is, and Luffy comes in. Obviously, he's probably the biggest threat here on this whole team. So I just want to make sure that hopefully we can kind of get him out of there before he does too much damage to us. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of guys ready to go. That's the downside. We're going to take a 4k hit here, which isn't good. Oh, that was a huge luck for us that we were able to get them off. Luffy's still there, so he's probably my main concern at the moment, just because of what he can do. So luckily, I don't think we're going to be able to stop Luffy before he goes, unfortunately, but Tesoro might just come in and help us out there anyway. Whew. So that was tough. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I knew it was a pretty buffy, quick team, and I probably should have waited until that unit came in the bench before I really went ahead and used my burst, just to give me just a better chance of winning there. So yeah, I was probably a little over cocky there, and I almost paid the price. So that's something to note going forward for the other couple days of Grand Party. This will be a really simple battle. Like I said, I'll just use my special right before Luffy and Kaido and those guys go, and then it should just be wrapped from that point on. Their back bench, the Conus is really meant to help nerf the Psy units, but we don't have any on here, so it doesn't really affect us. And like I said, I don't see any way that we can really lose this match just based on who we have going. We take some damage from Warrior there. The half stats is unfortunate. Luffy's just going to miss out on his special here. But Kaido's going to be going, so I'm going to go ahead and use my special now, just so that when Kaido goes, he just can hit a bunch of people who have low HP. So you can see, even with the buff that that int-driven side team is getting, we just melt right through them. That's kind of the unfortunate part. I had a int team going on day 1, but what I found was that they just weren't that great for getting through the content as good as you think they were. And unfortunately for us, when we had that first team, it was a quick team. If the Dex team wasn't nerfed so bad, I think this season would be a lot easier. But with that Dex team being nerfed, Unfortunately, that's allowing those quick teams to just kind of do just a ton of damage. All right, so there we go. First match of the day is done, and we had secured the victory. So let's go ahead and see what our opponents look like for match number 2. So our opponents here, we have 2 that are using the friend captain strategy, so that's awesome. So we're not going to face that middle team. It looks like it's a quick up top, into the middle, and then probably I'm guessing a strength or a strength at the bottom, most likely there. So we're going to take on this top team. We're going to kind of have a mirror match here. Like I said, we have the advantage here because we have the burst and they don't. But even if we didn't, our units are pretty heavily invested. We have a 150 Zoro, a fully maxed Luffy like this guy does. But I think our backbench is a little bit better than his as well. So we're going to go ahead and take on this team. What I'm debating to do is for the second fight, swapping. I don't know if I want to risk bringing in the Luffy into that type disadvantage matchup at the end. So most likely I'm going to probably just end up saving that strength team for the very end if I need it, and just sticking with the striker team in the middle there. I did switch out the Kuzan for Luffy, so I might just change that back. Just because I kind of built it so that if you were facing any strength teams, the Kuzan that I had on the bench previously would just help out, take out, and lower the CT and defense of strength units. But obviously, if we're not facing a strength team, then it doesn't really matter. So might do a quick edit there after we're done, but we'll see. So you see that's great. Nami and Karina are already ready to go, which is fantastic. So is theirs, but we won the matchup of who goes first, which is great for us. And then when Sanji goes, he's just going to be able to just help us get our specials back. So that's good. We got the provoke. And Sanji's going to get all our specials ready again. He might actually recharge the special of Nami and Karina again. He is, so we've got to use our special verse twice before they even got to use theirs once, which is kind of crazy. You're going to take the hit here. I'm probably going to actually save using the burst, just because I don't really think it's needed right now. Things are going pretty good in hand. Luffy's about to go again, so we'll see how it goes. I'd like to save the burst for the second fight and the third fight if I had to. Yeah, like I said, I don't think there's any way we can lose this fight at this point. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just skip to the end. We're not using our burst anyway, so there we go. Match number 1 done, and that leaves us a burst for match 2 and 3 in case match number 2 doesn't go our way. Like I said, we're going to have our striker team go up against their quick team. So this is kind of almost a rematch of the match that we saw in the first one. The only difference here is that their team is just a little bit less debuffed than the one I think we faced in that first match of the day. So hopefully we don't have our Jack get special bound again, which was kind of unfortunate. He really wasn't able to do much in terms of damage last time. So 30% HP cut always is not great over there. I'm going to go ahead and use the burst here, and then hopefully the Odin should go, or Roger Odin should go right after this, and just further cut the damage there. Once either Aokiji or Tesoro go, they'll just take out pretty much the rest of the units that are on the front line, which just make it easier for us to kind of go forward. Not too worried at all here. Fortunately for us, I think Jack just missed out. Actually, no, he was able to do the full almost 50% cut, so that was good for us. And the good news of us having Luffy on the bench is that, if he comes in later, if one of our units dies, he does more damage the later he comes in the fight. So that actually works out pretty well for us. Let's just use our burst. Just finish off match number 2 of the day. So there we go. Awesome. We didn't have to deal with any of the strength team fights. It would have been strength versus strength for that last match based on who the captain was. So there we go. 8 out of 8. All right. Let's go ahead and check our opponents for match number 3. So it looks like we only have one captain here who is not Gear 5 Luffy, so obviously we're going to face him. But let's just take a look at their teams anyway and see what those teams look like. So this is interesting. They actually have the Uta unit there in a full quick team, which is kind of weird. Maybe they put the wrong Uta there. But you can see kind of your standard ADK blue team that we've been seeing. Middle team is obviously the Free Spirit team, Free Spirit team. It's interesting to have the Law in there, so he kind of helps with CT also to reduce any powerhouse characters buffs there. And then lastly, we have the second team here, which again has an 80k quick team up front, even though this is kind of a weird combination. It was kind of a couple quick units, and then the Whitebeard that does the HP cut. You have Luffy, you have Kuma, you have King. So, I mean, they'll do a lot of damage, right? You have Kuma does defense, damage to defense. You have King who does damage to defense. Luffy does a shot. So, yeah, I mean, this team could actually be pretty deadly if you have the HP cut from Whitebeard and then take a Luffy shot, a Kuma shot, and a King shot. That could definitely ruin your day. Mill team doesn't look too crazy there. It looks like they're getting a slasher build or quasi slasher build there. Of course, they have the new Zoro Sanji there who could do some damage, so you just gotta watch out there. But like I said, if all three were G5s, I'd probably face this team. I'd feel more comfortable probably against this team. But of course, we're gonna take on this team. So nothing too crazy. They have almost I want to say like a striker team. Yeah, pretty much a almost full striker team here. But there's not a lot of synergy for some of the back end units, so I think that will be our advantage there. I want to try using the Free Spirit team against them. They're really tanky. The good news is they don't have a Jack on this team to help kind of do a defensive cut, so that is good, though they do have Tesoro who does that fixed damage, which is a pain. Ace can do some stuff, I believe, as well with his special. Let's just see real quick. Yeah, he does shield, he does some damage, so not the end-all be-all. So let's go ahead. I think the game plan will be to go ahead and use our Free Spirit team to take on fight number 1, and then I'll probably go with my striker team to take on fight number 2. So yeah, let's go ahead and get onto this and see what it's like. Now, the good news for us is that they have some units who are obviously Free Spirit on here, so they are getting some debuffs, but without having that captain ability of Gear 5 to really kind of help get some of those buffs back, they're not as scary a team. And like I said, my backbench is pretty scary as well. So, like I said, we'll just go through, see what happens. We'll get a burst ready at some point that we can use if we have to, if we're not feeling too confident about what's going on there. So we have a lot of different options there. If we get hit by the Roger and Whitebeard, the good news is that we have the revive on both the Luffy and the Zoro, so that kind of gives us a little bit of an advantage there in case they decide to go ahead and hit those units. We should be able to tank it pretty well. And like I said, we're just going to try to get our specials to get their specials reversed, I should say, with Nami and Karina, and then just kind of go on from there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to take out Roger Whitebeard there, but it is what it is. We can take a shot here, but the good news is that Otama is just going to heal us right back up, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, our Nami and Karina hasn't had a chance to go yet. They've been kind of lagging behind, unfortunately. I do have a level 150 Zoro, so the good news is once it gets the provoke, it kind of melts through them pretty quick, which is good. Obviously, this is going to hurt. That's unfortunate that we got Nami and Karina knocked out when they couldn't even do any damage there, but Smoker will come in. He can do Special Bind, so you can't really complain there. The Luffy unit is just painful because they do more damage the later the fight goes on, so we have to be careful there. So that's good. We Special Bound both Luffy and Yamato and the middle unit there. Luffy will do his Barangun. I think I'm actually comfortable just saving. I don't think there's any need for me to go ahead and waste using it. So I'm just going to actually skip the rest of this match. I don't think there's... Oh, wow. We actually lost that. I can't believe we lost that. That was completely my fault. I should have used burst. That would have been an easy win. Okay. If I lose, that's completely on me. That's why sometimes you don't get too cocky. I thought for sure that with the units I had left, there was no chance they would be able to take me out, but apparently I was wrong. So obviously this team is kind of scary because they have, you know, the Luffy who can do the damage to defense. Now they don't have Kobe and they don't have Jack. They don't have new Blackbeard, so they don't have Boa. So it's... Oh, actually they do have Jack. So that is kind of bad for us that they do have Jack. But the good news for us is that the Strength team is really, call them a house of cards, where you can see a one Luffy special will pretty much take them out. And then what we can do is just use the rest of our specials to just get our special charge for fight number 3, and then we'll have our Strength team ready to go. So if it's a quick team, this could not be great, but we'll have to see what that looks like. Perfect. So we have our special ready to go, which is great. And let's see what their last team is. So it is the quick team. Unfortunately for us, they have G5 Luffy on the back end too. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty close fight. Like I said, I should have used that burst on that first match. That was completely my fault. Doesn't mean we're going to lose this here. Like I said, they don't have a burst. We have a burst, so that's our advantage there. But the advantage that they do have over us is that, obviously, their strength, right? So Kanyo's going to do a 30% cut. Shiru's going to do a pretty nasty cut. The only good news is once Luffy and Kaido and those guys get low, they get a shield on them, which kind of helps out a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit. Fortunately for us, Kaido and Luffy both got bound there. Oh my god, that's just not good at all. Yeah. I mean, luckily our back bench is pretty strong, so that's the only good... If there is some good news here, that's probably the only good news here, and that their specials aren't ready, so now all of our specials are going to go. And hopefully we can wipe out their front line with the specials that we have here. Luffy should be able to do a ton of damage here, even though he is a strength unit. That's why we love him. He just melted through. Okay, so it looks like we're going to win. It was kind of scary there for a while. Like I said, it was all my fault on the first fight. I got too cocky. Should have used the burst just to secure the win and put us in a good spot for match number 2 or 3. But I didn't, so... And at this point, she's beating up on Luffy. There we go. So we were able to secure the victory. Like I said, that was scary. That was much closer than I was hoping to see. But at the end of the day, we were able to pull out 2 wins, which was fantastic for us. And end the day 9 out of 9. So obviously, after today, it gets much harder. You see less teams, so you have to kind of use some RNG. So who knows what happens? This season is a little bit tricky with the rule set. So we'll see how the next 2 days go. Like I said, if I don't get 15 out of 15, I don't really care, to be honest with you. Yeah, you lose on some bounty, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not losing any sleep over that bounty if I don't get 15 out of 15. So it is what it is. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how your day 3 is going. Are you still 9 out of 9? And you know, what kind of weird teams have you seen out there that have worked or not worked? I'd love to hear about it. And until next time, be kind to each other.